everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is Literature on the Rocks. Why was it so deep?
Sick.
Why was it so deep?
And sometimes it comes out like that.
It caught me off guard.
This is Rachel.
I'm Sunny. I'm Rachel.
I haven't talked for a few minutes, so that was just like the bubble of what was in my throat, and apparently there was a man in my throat. Wait, no.
I couldn't even keep it together. I was like, what happened? Did you put a voice changer on yourself?
No, that was all me, baby. That was all me.
Oh my God. That was
Oh,
so
shit.
funny. It's just
Sorry.
where we're,
Book club.
Oh,
this is
shit.
where we're at
Book
right
club.
Oh,
There you go.
That was even deep.
Yeah.
A little bit's coming back.
Oh, I'm a tenor now. Give me some bass. Book club.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds good.
This is deeper.
Okay. Yes.
I want to hear about whatever the stuff that happened with this man.
Okay, so it's like all over social media right now. There's this man who had 2 young daughters. They needed to use a restroom, and so he went to a gas station. And instead of taking the 2 young girls into the men's restroom, he decided to take them into the women's restroom. Well, some man that was in the gas station saw him go in, or either some woman came out and told her husband, like, there's a man in the women's restroom. And so he goes over to the restroom. He's like, opens the door and he calls the cops. Like, there's a man in here with these girls and he needs to get out of the women's restroom. Like, what is he doing in here? And the guy's like super calm, super just collected, and he's just trying to wash his daughter's hands. And he wasn't being creepy. He wasn't doing anything weird. He was literally just taking care of his children.
So Google AI says that he announced himself before going in and nobody responded. So it was empty.
Yeah.
And so he went in because they didn't have a like family bathroom.
And I'm not taking my 6-year-old daughter in the men's restroom where all the guys just willy-nilly take their dicks out.
Right. There's urinals on the wall and they have their dicks out.
But he was in there and this guy threw a fit about it. And so
Did he get arrested or
the guy in the restroom?
anyone? Did you call the cops?
The
What
cops
happened?
came and I think they
Oh, no.
escorted the old man, because he was an older man, off
That was
the
complaining.
premises. Yeah.
Yeah. The police confirmed that he had not committed a crime
Yeah. I mean,
and that assisting his young children is not a police matter.
right.
Good.
But then it sparked all this conversation all over social media about, like, would you be okay with a man in the women's restroom? Right. And so then it turned into this whole debate about, like, no, he's a man, he shouldn't be in the women's restroom. And then other people are like, he's a girl dad, what is he supposed to do?
I think announcing yourself, there's no one in here. I'm walking into a stall. If I hear someone come in, I'm like, hey, just so you know, I'm in here. Like, I got my girls, right? I'm trying to be respectful. But the thing is, like, in a girl's restroom, it's not open. Right?
Yeah,
in a
there's all
men's
stalls.
restroom, it's all open.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
And few stalls, like very little.
Sometimes
right?
one.
Yeah. So
I feel like it would be weirder for a woman to take her
Son.
boy child into, her son,
Yeah.
her boy child.
she's bringing her
The
husband.
male fruit of her loins.
To like go into the men's restroom because it's all open, right? Like that feels weird. We are in our
Enclosed
own stalls.
spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, if you're like trying to peep in there, that's creepy.
Sure.
But if you just walk in and you're like, "Hey, is anyone in here?" You're most likely not going to see anything.
No.
Yeah.
You might hear some farts.
We are human.
At a gas station after having those hot dogs, you might hear a little bit more than a fart.
Some moaning and groaning. Because their tummy hurts. Their tummy hurts.
Oh,
Wow.
I was
What are
thinking
you
of
doing
shit
in
sounds.
Oh, no. I was thinking
And you
like,
were moaning and growing. Rapid fire diarrhea is what I was referring to.
But now I know what Rox is doing in the gas station.
fighting for my life is what's happening.
I don't have
so
a problem with it. I think
I-
he did it like he was announcing himself. He was doing
pro.
it.
Yeah,
I don't-
bring your kids into the women's restroom. Like, as long as you tell me. And it's different if you're a man with daughters or just a man.
Right.
Right. That's a different scenario. If you're just
Yes.
walking in, you're like, hey, the men's restroom had no room for me. It'd be like,
Yeah.
you should learn how to hold
Someone's
it.
blowing it up. over
Learn how
there.
to hold it.
You know, but if he's like, hey, I'm just my daughters, and I'd be like, yeah, do your thing, dude. I don't know. Maybe I think of like the good in most people, right? But I do genuinely feel like there's more good people than bad people, I hope, in the world. So I would
definitely,
not be
like-
opposed to it. I would just go, okay, and move
I don't
on.
have that same rose-colored
Sentiment.
glasses, but I like having a husband who's a girl dad.
Yes.
I know what it's like to take kids out, and so I understand a dad doing it.
And my husband has even told me, even in the short time, right, that we've had our daughter, that they're like sometimes he doesn't even want to take her in there to change her on the changing table because it's like,
But sometimes they
it's
don't have changing tables in
and
men's
he's come in
bathrooms.
and
Yeah.
said, there's not even a changing table in there for me
There's a
to
lot
do
of
it.
that,
Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. He'll be like, I'm really sorry. You're going to have to take her because there's nowhere in there for me to do it. And I'm like, all right. But if he was by himself, there was no family restroom, and there wasn't a changing table in the men's restroom,
What's
what
he gonna
option
do?
does he have aside
Yeah.
from taking her back out to the car to change her in the car? I don't know. I didn't think it's as problematic as the people were making it.
Yeah. I don't feel like it is, but
It's not.
Especially now, I feel like there's a lot of places where they do like the communal hand wash area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's walking into the same place, and it almost feels weird
Yeah.
because I'm like, why are you washing your hands next to me? Isn't this my space? Where's your dedicated space, sir?
I don't want you washing your poopy fingers next to me.
You guys are dirty. Go to the other side.
Seriously. I know what you touched in there.
Yeah. So maybe the answer is just they do a bunch more family restrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. It just requires a lot more space, right? 'Cause
Yeah, it does.
Or it turns into we now have stalls till we now have like 2 family, like any person restrooms.
Like all
Well,
gender.
Yeah, 2 all gender restrooms.
I've been into the ones where they just changed the bathroom to an all gender bathroom, and it's like obviously was a men's restroom before, so now
Right.
it's like a urinal and a
Yeah.
toilet, and I'm like, I'll go to the other one. I don't like peeing next to this urinal.
You don't have to stand and use it.
I know, but it just like already
She's like, all right, fine.
I guess I'll just-
this urinal.
throw a leg on the wall and see what I can accomplish. But even then, like I mean, I've had to use them, so not the urinal, but the bathroom with the urinal.
like, when? Let's talk
just
about that story.
Sat my butt in the urinal.
on
just
a urinal
kidding.
cake.
Disgusting. Okay.
Let's
Should
get
we
into this book club. All right, so we are discussing Dark Matter by Blake Kraut. Why don't you remind us what we rated this book?
Oh, yes. So last week, Rox was living the high of dark matter, and she rated it a 3. And Sunny and I were 2s.
I don't know if I'm going to change it this time. We'll see. Stay tuned for the end.
Who knows what'll happen after Rox discusses it.
Yeah. Okay, so our book discussions, first 4 questions are always the same. So our first question is first impressions. What were your initial thoughts when you started reading Dark Matter? Did the book meet your expectations or surprise you? I wrote, well, let me tell you. I went into this book thinking it was a completely different book. When we were thinking about our TBR, I had debated on adding a book called We Are Legion, We Are Bob, which was about a guy who has his brain cryopreserved and wakes up in the future. I thought going into Dark Matter that was this book. And so it was about a guy getting his brain frozen. So when future him drugged him, I thought, wait, he's forced to be cryopreserved? His brain? Like, what's happening? Well, this really took a turn because I didn't see this coming. And then he wakes up and I'm like, oh, yeah, they've woken him up in the future and they're avoiding saying the year because they never say the year in this book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so he's gonna be shocked when he realizes he's however many years in the future. And then obviously that never happened. So it didn't happen because it wasn't this book. So I eventually had to look up the plot and realized my mistake. So I was absolutely surprised by this book, but I wouldn't trust my first impressions.
I went in blind in one eye on this one
One eye.
In one eye.
because I knew it was sci-fi. But beyond that, I was clueless.
Wow, I didn't realize how much more information 2 eyes would give you. One eye was very minimal.
Exactly. You need both for that depth perception. I liked the existential dread in this book and the storyline.
Okay.
I thought it was going to go so much
concise. So I said I was really hoping to like this book, and thankfully it did not disappoint. I'm learning that science fiction might actually be my version of fantasy. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's because I'm not particularly drawn to the dragons, magic, and fairies, but I do love stories that ask what if questions that feel kind of possible. Honestly, every overthinker.
This feels
Yes, possible.
Got it. Okay.
Quantum mechanics, you guys.
You don't know about ancient China. Why do they love dragons? Because they existed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
What if the wings were not made of bones, so we don't have fossils that show their wings?
I mean,
I feel like you've thought about this.
it makes sense that
I'm
they
just
wouldn't
saying,
be made
cartilage.
of bones. Yeah, it makes
Come
sense.
on, girl. Anyways, carry on.
So, anyways, I said
Witches? Honestly. Sorry.
they all got burned at the stake.
Not my lineage.
So honestly, every overthinker has already spent time in an alternate reality. I've definitely found myself wondering how life would have turned out if I had made different choices. So the premise immediately hooked me.
Unresolved questions. Were there any plot points or character arcs that you felt were left unresolved or could have been explored further? Thinking about all the different worlds and timelines Jason stepped into to find his home, I think this book ironed it all out, and I didn't have any lingering questions.
I kind of would have wanted to know the perspective of some of the other Jasons, not all 89 of them, because that would have been complete chaos, but maybe like one or two. Like I find myself wondering where their lives diverged, what choices led them to become the versions that we briefly kind of got to meet. I also found myself wondering what would have happened if Jason had chosen one of the worlds that was incredibly close to his own, like the one where he settles into the world where Daniela was pregnant with that second child. Mm-hmm. Would the other Jasons have continued searching for him there, or would he have been able to finally been left alone and live in peace?
And would he have murdered that Jason so he could live that life?
Yeah. Or would he have just thrown him back in the box and sent him on his way? I was curious about that.
Okay.
I mean, this book wasn't really realistic, right? Like you had
Not to rocks.
like you had
Total
to use
potential for real life.
realism.
Yes.
But you had to use your imagination to fill in a lot of the blanks, or at least accept the fact that you didn't fully understand how the box could actually work in real life. But okay, let's go with it. The biggest question I would have is why all these Jasons ended up in the exact same universe, or why they wouldn't just try to potentially find an alternate version of the same universe. Okay, so like follow along. If there are new universes popping up every time you make a decision, then the same universe where Jason 2 took over would have infinite versions of the exact same universe. I think I can still make this make sense a little bit, but I feel like hundreds of Jasons showing up to the exact same universe when there are so many other versions of this same universe seems really unlikely. Also, have you ever seen Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Yes.
Where there are thousands of Ralphs that turn into one giant Ralph. I imagine that this is what that looked like. Look at all these Jasons kept popping up. So anyways, the other part that feels unresolved is if they actually close themselves off in this new world and we're actually safe, or is there still this other version of Jason, these other versions of Jasons chasing them? Like, were they safe from it all? I just think, because it's not just my different reality, right? It's everyone in the world's different reality. So if this person makes a slightly different change, it creates a whole new universe.
Yeah.
That's slightly different than every single one. So they're all similar, but they're not all the exact same.
So like everyone was looking for this one universe, but really there were infinite amounts of that same exact universe, just slightly different, because our neighbor decided to get a cat instead of a dog.
Like that one that he walked into that was almost like, but the bartender didn't know his name.
Right.
So it was just a little bit different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There should be exact same universes for Jason.
Just slightly different.
Because my neighbor chose pizza instead of whatever, right? Like very, very, so many infinite, because there's hundreds of millions of people in the world. So their choice also creates a new universe where everything is exactly the same except for this one decision that was made over here. Mm-hmm. So it feels like, how did hundreds of Jasons find this same exact universe? It just feels really kind of unlikely. It's too much. It's too much for my little brain.
Too many choices.
Well, could it be that the point was that all of the millions of realities that were out there, it wasn't necessarily about the environment. It was about being with that one specific person.
But if they
and that
came-
one specific
But that
family
one specific
structure.
person has the exact same, right?
But she might be also a little different in every single reality. She's
Or
not
dead.
the exact same person.
But from the moment, like, it was almost like from the moment Jason 2 took over, this was the only universe that existed. But Jason 2 and Daniela had a billion different things. So the Daniela and Jason that Jason 1 was trying to get back to, and all the other Jasons were trying to get back to, all the other Jason 1s were trying to get back to, there was an infinite amount of those, right? Because once Jason 2 decided to come and take over, all of their little choices between Jason 2 taking over and him actually finding, there were infinite amount of universes.
yeah, but they're not
created in this
her. They're
amount
not that specific Daniela.
But they were all
We're
coming
exactly
to.
but
the
they're
same.
all going to be. She could be slightly different in every single one of those similar realities.
But they were
so they're
all
not
the exact
that Daniela.
same Daniela up until Jason 1 branched off, like left, got back. Like the one that
But
Jason
everything
1,
after Jason 1 takes over, they're all going to be slightly different Danielas.
yeah, but they are the exact same
They
one
all
that
branch
Jason 1
from the
left.
same. Yeah, they're all branched from that same Daniela.
I understand, but every Daniela after that will still be a little bit different because the
but
circumstances
he
will
won't
be a
know.
little
But
different
they
in
won't.
everyone.
But they won't know that because they're not going to know that she chose pizza instead of ice cream.
Well, and those are small changes, but there could be other large changes that happen
Right,
going
but-
forward that we don't know about.
In that like week, there's still an infinite amount of universes
Yeah.
that have the exact same Daniela that Jason 1 knew. So for them to all be back at this one spot almost
'Cause that was the
seems
starting
unlikely.
point.
The universes become infinite every single moment, right? So it's not the starting point. The starting point is when Jason 1 broke off, right? But then he created all these other Jasons. Well, they created all these other Danielas and Jason 2s, but they're exactly the same as what was left.
Maybe they can't go into Daniela's other worlds because it's their world. They have to go into their version, not Daniela's version.
But if I can go
They
into
need
a
her
world where
to go
I never
in-
existed, then why can't I go into a world
Because
where
they need her. Like when he was traveling through the boxes with, what was her face? The other lady?
So if that's the case, once they all like him, Daniela, and Charlie
Then it
took,
doesn't matter. They're not
took-
safe.
But then they took that the drug. Now they all at some point have taken it. So now can the other Danielas in the other world find that drug
Yeah, maybe.
and go find her?
yeah.
That's like I think all those Jasons, for hundreds of Jasons to show up into the same world seems unlikely because of how many infinite
Options
universes
there were.
were
Sure.
created. And then on top of that, like if I was a Jason, I'm like, wow, there's 100 Jasons in this world, but there's probably an infinite amount of this world, exact same world that I can find. I'm just gonna steal the whatever drug is, so I have more of it and go
Yeah.
into a different world. And if there's more Jasons there, I'll grab more drugs and find a different world, and eventually get back to a Daniela that I know and is my Daniela, and move on.
Yeah. Alternate ending. If you could change one thing about the ending of Dark Matter, what would it be and why? I don't know that I would change the ending, but I definitely wanted more of it. The book ends on a hopeful note, like with Jason, Danielle, and Charlie choosing to move forward together, but then I immediately wanted to know what happened next. Like, what world did they choose? Did they create an entire new reality? Did they spend years searching for the right one? Did any of the other Jasons ever come looking for them? I understand that it was kind of meant to be a little bit open-ended because there's a million possibilities, and that's the point of the book. But after spending an entire book fighting to get back to his family, I just wanted a little more insight into what their future looked like once they finally found each other again.
Yeah. Basically same thing. I think this one is too complex for me to try and make up a whole new ending for it. I do think I would have liked to have a glimpse of what this new universe they ended up in was like, though.
So as they went through the different timelines, we learned about the many different Danielas and Jasons. Some were dead, some were alive, but they never explored the other Charlies that could have existed. And in the infinite amount of timelines, there could have been a scenario where, okay, Charlie picked the room, and then we flash forward years later where an older version of Charlie from a different universe gets into the box and now is starting to hunt down his family.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like Charlie picks, because Jason's like, they're never going to find us because I'm not picking, you're not picking, Charlie's picking. But if there's infinite amounts of different Danielas in all these universes, there's also infinite amounts of different Charlies. So if one day, down like years later, one of those Charlies ends up in a box, a different Charlie than what went into this new world, he could potentially find them. It wouldn't be a Jason or a Daniela that finds them. It would be a Charlie. Maybe in a different universe, he followed into his dad's footsteps and did this science-y thing, and together they made the box.
Oh, yeah.
And then that Charlie gets it. Like, I'm writing my own story. There we go.
It's a whole new story.
I love it.
Adaptation dreams. If dark matter were to be adapted into a movie or TV series, who would you cast in the main roles? I just did Jason, Daniela, and Amanda.
Samesies.
Oh, I did Jason, Danielle, and Charlie, but I should have did Amanda instead of Charlie.
I was thinking Charlie, but then I was like, he's only 15.
Yeah, I'm not doing the cheering.
Also think I might have casted a little bit older, but I don't care. It's who I picked.
Okay.
It's who I've envisioned the moment we started reading this book.
All right.
Excellent. I can't
So
wait.
my Jason, I picked Jake Gyllenhaal. I feel like he's like sci-fi. He's got that Donnie Darko under his belt, and I know we just cast him for something, but he's just a good sci-fi weirdo.
I did Lee Pace.
I think he's even older, so maybe I didn't cast old. I thought maybe I was casting a little bit old.
Because I imagine Jason to be a handsome but nerdy, science-driven
Yeah.
guy. So
Yeah. I actually did picture him older until Daniela was pregnant in another world. And I was like, oh, maybe they're not as old as I was thinking.
well, he would have been
Like 35, I think.
no.
Because he was in his early 20s when they got pregnant because he was graduate. And then he was 15. Charlie was
I
15.
thought he was. Oh, I
So maybe
imagined
late
him in his
30s.
40s, but
That's
yeah.
same.
But it was. You're right. I guess based on that timeline of being early and. Well, I guess he was towards the end of college, though, but still,
Yeah.
21,
We
22.
also don't know in the
24 maybe.
timeline
Yeah.
timeline where they have the second baby that it wasn't like Charlie was 4. Like he could have been really young in that timeline, and they had a second baby, so they could have been still younger, I guess, in that second timeline.
No, because it's the same universe.
Yeah,
Like
but
you're not going back in time.
Yeah, but you don't know when he had the second baby in that world.
Oh, see, I was imagining that Charlie was 15 and now they decided to have another baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking
they were young.
like we don't
Yeah.
know how old Charlie is.
Oh,
Charlie could have been 2.
I assumed everyone was, when you jumped into the other world, you're at the same point in time age-wise.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like we're not going back in time, but I guess there's a chance that she.
Who did you pick?
I picked John Krasinski.
Oh yeah,
He was on my list.
Yeah,
Because I feel like he can be kind of nerdy, but
Yeah.
also kind of handsome because you talked about him to being handsome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all in the same age bracket. This is
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Well, shit. We're at a stalemate. We got
Yeah, because there are 3 really good ones. They all have very similar vibes.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Lee Pace, and John Krasinski.
Do we rock, paper, scissors?
Really the first time we rock, paper, scissored for a decision, but I'm not opposed because I kind of like all 3.
I
Do you
do.
know what?
I'm not mad at any
I'm
of
not
them.
mad at anyone. I think I do have a least favorite.
Okay.
Okay, who's your least
I
favorite?
think Lee Pace is my least favorite.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, because we just recently did Jake Gyllenhaal for something, I will pick John Krasinski.
I knew that was going to happen. For Daniela, I picked Natalie Martinez.
Okay.
All right.
I did Zoe Saldana.
Okay. I did Anna de Armas.
Oh, I almost picked her actually.
Yeah. Okay, we had Zoe Saldana, Anna de Armas,
Natalie Martinez.
Yes.
Natalie Martinez.
I will pick Natalie Martinez.
I was going to say, I think I'm good with Natalie Martinez.
Yeah.
All right. For Amanda, I picked Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh. I did Allison Brie. I really liked her in Mad Men.
Just because I really like Allison Brie, I'm going to go with Allison.
Okay.
Because I didn't cast for Amanda.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Okay, and who'd you pick for Charlie?
Yeah.
And for Charlie, we picked Walker Scobell.
Okay, so for Jason was John Krasinski, Daniela was Natalie Martinez, Amanda was Allison Brie, and Charlie was Walker Scobell.
Beautiful.
Amazing cast.
Oh, we learned this morning, maybe you knew it. This book is actually already a TV series on Apple. Mm-hmm. Oh, we did not know.
Yeah.
We hate their cast.
Yeah, we don't like it.
Oh.
So for season 2, take notes. Okay, career versus family. Do you think it's possible to have it all, like Jason 2 was trying to achieve, or does every major life choice require sacrifice? I do think it's possible to, quote unquote, have it all, but only if we're realistic about what all means. I don't believe anyone can have every opportunity, achievement, and experience all at the same time. Every major life choice comes with some level of sacrifice, whether it's time, energy, money, or attention. For me, having it all is less about getting everything simultaneously and more about creating balance over the course of a lifetime, different seasons requiring different priorities. In that sense, I think you can have a fulfilling career, meaningful relationships, personal happiness, and experiences that matter most to you, just not all at once or not without some kind of sacrifice along the way?
I said, I think every major life choice comes with some level of sacrifice. The interesting part is that what feels like a sacrifice changes depending on where you are in life. So 20-year-old Walks would have told you having it all meant lots of money, having a house, climbing the highest possible position in a career. Now my definition has shifted. A C-suite title doesn't seem nearly as important as having enough flexibility to be present for my family while still building a career I'm proud of. What struck most about Jason, too, is that he spent so much time chasing the version of life he thought he wanted that he never really appreciated the life that he already had. And honestly, that's the lesson I kind of took away from the book. So when I look around at my life, I realize that so many of the things I spent years hoping for are already here. I have a family that I love, friends that matter, work that I'm enjoying, and the flexibility to be present for most of the things that are most important to me. Is life perfect? Absolutely not. But maybe having it all isn't about achieving every possible version of success. Maybe it's just about recognizing and appreciating the life you've already built. That's easier said than done, but something I am trying to get better at every day.
I don't know, but boy, am I trying to have it all. I feel like having a kid has really tested this having it all thing. I have to say, I don't think it's truly possible to have all the things. I think something suffers a bit depending on what I'm succeeding at that time. If I'm thriving as a mother, then there are probably some things I'm missing at work. And if I'm kicking butt at work, then I'm probably lacking a bit as a mother. It feels like it's always this never-ending balancing act. If you lean too much to one side, you'll fall off. I also think the idea of what success looked like starts to shift as well. So similar to what you said, like I can have it all if I change what it all means. But in the grand scheme of it, like considering this book, having the incredibly successful life while also having the family and the thing, like I don't think that is possible. But to be content with where I'm at and shift what having it all looks like, then yeah, I have it all. Like I'm content with what my life looks like right now. So I have it all. But for sure, I'm sacrificing time at work because I'd rather spend time with my kid. I'm sacrificing some time with my kid so that I can make sure he has all the things, right? Like there's for sure sacrifice that is required in order to have a new version of it all.
Yeah.
But then I think of some people who, like being in the positions that we're in, like that would be, like they don't have zero desire to get where we are and we're still trying to grow.
Yeah.
So for them, it might be like, oh, I have it all. I can pay for my house and my kid has food on the table and that's it. That's all I wanted out of life.
Yeah.
But I still want more. I'm a greedy bitch.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, especially when you think about like Dark Matter, having it all was truly having this skyrocketed amount of success and being able to be this like beloved whatever scientist who changed the world with this discovery. It required him to sacrifice having a family. But in the end, he wasn't content with that. He still wanted the family. And I think that I do feel like having a kid changed it. When I was not a mom, even single or married or whatever, like it all was success and like building up my career and getting to the top and being a boss bitch. And I do feel like I have that, but I definitely have moments where I'm like, I have to turn that off now. And I want to be a parent because I'm more fulfilled with that at this time in my life.
Yeah.
But there is still a drive that's like, I still want the career and the success and I want to be a boss bitch. But I also really feel like being a mom is what matters the most. I'm more willing to sacrifice my career to be a good mom than I am to sacrifice my kid to be a good career person.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But you know what I was just thinking about? Because in that timeline that Jason 2 came from, Daniela was still single, right? She wasn't married to Ryan.
No, and she did still have feelings for
You could've
Jason.
gone-
Why
her.
didn't you just go make a life? Like, granted, yes, you were older now, so maybe
Children maybe
physically
were not.
having biological children was not it. But if you wanted to start a family, there's all kinds of different.
timeline. Daniela was pregnant, so maybe
That's
it's still
true.
possible. Like,
It's still
also
po-
you're a fucking genius scientist. Figure it out.
That, or I mean, there's other ways to build a family. You don't have to physically
Yes.
grow one. But yes, why did he just go from having it all, what he wanted career-wise, and then go to somebody else's life?
Like he could have had it all, which was the
He
career
could
and
have.
then
Turned around and
eventually
gone,
the
"I'm so
family.
sorry."
Yeah,
Yeah.
And obviously she still had a thing for him.
Yes.
I
Or
think he
maybe
could have
he
had-
just genuinely realized, like, yeah, this
I
was
want
cool,
that child
but I
that
don't
I gave up.
necessarily need this achievement and accolades. And really, it's more just about having this like,
And I think
you know?
that
I
it
don't
goes
know.
back to what I was saying. Like, it's having that family does seem to be more fulfilling now. And if you look at the two timelines where he had the success, the career, he wanted the family, it was like he didn't care about the other, Jason 1 was like, I don't care about the success. I have my family.
Yeah.
I'm more fulfilled here than if I come here and try to pretend that I'm this great, amazing scientist. Like, I don't want that. I want Daniela and Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that at the end of the day, it depends on where you are in life, that what feels like is the priority, right? Because
Yeah.
same thing. I was, before being a parent, was like, nah, I'm gonna run this bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll own this company soon.
Yep. Don't worry, I will be your VP in no time.
Yes.
And now I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to put in all this time,
Yeah, actually, like, I can leave right now. All right, good. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I can shut this computer and be done. Great.
You don't need me to say thank you.
Yes.
I'm out, So also being valued at work is still kind of fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
Yeah, it's not saying that
little
those
tinge
goes
in me,
away.
Yeah.
I think everybody still has. But again, what all of it is, like, you have a successful career. You're not a VP, but you
No.
have a successful career that some people our age are still trying to get to. And then you have a family that you love and get to spend time with and get to do all the things with and travel with. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what my answer was. Right? Like, I think if I change my perspective on what all is, I could probably say I have it all.
Yeah.
I have a job. I pay my bills. I have food in my fridge. I have all
my bills
the
are on
necessities.
auto pay. I would have never
That's
at
what
18.
yes, that's what I
just
mean.
had
Like,
that
bills.
realization the other day. Like, I remember when I was like, okay, I'm getting this paycheck. I have to make sure I pay this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm like,
I was shifting around due dates just to make sure that they fell on the right paycheck.
Yes.
I think when it came was because I was like, oh, I need gas. There's a gas station. Fill up. And then I was like, damn, I didn't even know what gas station this was. Right. And
Or
I
how much
never-
the gas was.
Yeah, I don't look at
Yeah.
look at that anymore.
But
and
really,
I-
what am I going to do? Walk? I need to get
know,
gas.
I know.
Right, right. But I just went to the one that was easier. There was one across the street, and I'm like, oh, that one was in Arco. Which one am I at?
Yeah.
Shell. Damn. Okay, Sonny, living this rich life over here.
Yeah, it's. I used to
Yes.
like be just checking my bank
Heck
account
yeah.
every few days. Like, did I forget that something's coming out?
Or like,
Can I
okay,
spend
I
$20
have-
at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Planning my meals, not just based on what I want to eat, but because like I have this much, so I probably need to grab a cup of noodles. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
And an egg.
So
Just
yeah.
one.
Yeah. So that's what it's like,
This
if I
feels a little bit.
braggy.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's about you
Not
worked
braggy,
your
but,
ass
like,
off
Yeah,
to get to this place.
That's true.
And
But if any of our listeners are wanting it, it is possible.
It's possible.
we've been there.
Yeah, you could go through some shit. That's
Yeah.
what we're saying. Like,
Yes.
where we are now is vastly different from where we started. And
Yes.
And it did take sacrifice for a bit. Like
Yes.
we had you had children earlier than we did, but we had children later than a lot of people in life.
Yeah.
And
To sacrifice having the ability to potentially have the option to give them things.
And
right?
I don't know necessarily that this was right move, right? Because then you also see people who are like, I had children young, they're all fully grown, and now I get to live my life how I want it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds nice. I got to. It's going to take me a little bit longer.
It's a sacrifice, right? Because I feel like comparing myself to those that had children super young,
Yeah.
they didn't really live the life I lived at 20 because
Right.
I didn't have a child, right?
Yeah.
So is right? No.
Yeah, there's no right or
It's
wrong to
just
it. Yeah.
that there was
It's
a little
different.
bit of a shift.
And I think I wouldn't have been the same mom I am now if
Oh,
I would
God,
have been
yeah.
strapped for buying groceries, buying diapers, doing all the things. I would not be the same. Like, you'll see memes of like, oh, my firstborn, because I grew up with them. Like, I
Yeah.
don't feel like I have that relationship with my oldest because I was fucking grown when you got here.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's just the difference between the two. Your priorities are different. And
Yeah.
I think it makes
Yeah.
you not necessarily a bad mom, but just a different version.
Yeah. I mean, my husband and I have talked about this recently that, like, if we had our daughter earlier in our relationship, there's a very real chance we wouldn't be together now.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
Yeah.
so I think everything kind of potentially works out the way it's supposed to, hopefully. And in some cases, it's supposed to work out where you don't stay together. And that's just the better thing, right? Overall. So the next one is the big what if. If you could see how your life turned out after making one different major decision, would you want to? Honestly, I don't think I would. At this stage of my life, I already spent enough time thinking through every possible outcome before I make a decision. I analyze, I reconsider, I overthink. Plenty as it is. If I could actually see an alternate version of my future, I think I'd become obsessed with trying to control the outcome instead of just living my life. So reading Dark Matter actually made me realize how much energy we spend comparing our lives to hypothetical versions of ourselves. I've done that with jobs, finances, parenting, probably every major decision I've made. In the last year alone, I've questioned career moves, financial decisions, and whether I was making the right choices for my family. At some point, I had to just stop asking whether another version of my life would have been better and just start appreciating the one that I'm actually living. So the truth is, some of the best things in my life have come from circumstances I could not have predicted. If I had known every twist and turn ahead of time, I might have spent so much time trying to perfect the journey that I would have forgot to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I wrote, this is hard because my knee-jerk reaction is yes, I'd want to see it. If I really start to think about it, though, I don't think that I do. I'd hate to feel like this one decision could have made my life so much better, especially when I'm very content with my life how it is right now. I'm happy. I don't need to put myself in a position that I might become jealous of a different version of myself. I already beat myself up for my past mistakes as it is. I don't need it in my face. I may even be content enough in my life to see it and still feel okay with where my life is. But why add that kind of pressure? No thanks. I'll stay in my universe. But also, just one peek won't hurt.
Absolutely not, but bring it over closer.
But like, just enough for me to see in the distance.
Just put the blinds open. Just put the blinds open.
Is it sunny out
Okay,
there?
close it.
Oh, that's enough. That's enough. It's raining. Fuck that life.
What am I driving?
What am I driving?
What type of restaurant am I eating at? Yeah, no, I think I'm all right.
I'm sorry, is that Michelin?
Yes.
No.
I've already had a few in my life, and that's not in that. No, we're good.
I said I wouldn't. I've said this too many times to count, but I do love my life, warts and all. I love where I am, who I'm with, and I'm proud of how I got here. So I don't ever want to see a version of me that doesn't have a loving husband, my amazing kids, or my wonderful friends.
Look at the tears were coming.
They were so close. I have even makeup on today.
You know
What is this?
I've said this many times in like the course of my last like 15 years of life that no regrets. I got none. No regrets. Like even the shitty decisions that I've made, like I don't regret them because they all got me to where I'm at right now.
My husband and I talk about this all the time because the way that we met, it was like there was no other path. There was no way that even though he potentially could have been in my life way earlier, right? Like how did I work practically with him for years and never know who he was until the moment that I actually got to meet him because we were around each other for pretty much our whole life. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, you've been around forever. I just have never actually met you. But I truly believe if I had met him even a couple days earlier, it wouldn't have worked out. And I feel like that's just the way that things, all the crap and all the good and all the bad and all the decisions that I could potentially regret, I would have never had the life that I have today, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
Behind the door, if you went into the box today and understood how the box works, what world would you hope to find? Based on your current mindset, what world do you think your thoughts would really lead you to? All right, I wrote, right now my life feels chaotic. I have so much going on at work and in my personal life that I constantly feel like I should be doing something. Does anyone else feel like rest is a reward you only get after you've been productive enough to deserve it?
Yes.
I feel like I'm always making deals with myself. I can't take a lunch until I finish XYZ. I can't sit down and watch TV until the dishes are done. I can't relax until I've cleaned the house. I can't take a nap Period. Who has time for a nap? Even the things I enjoy sometimes feel like rewards that have to be earned instead of things I'm allowed to do simply because I want to. So if I could intentionally open the door and choose a world, I'd want one where the world is exactly the same, but self-care and mental health are actually really prioritized. A world where my house somehow cleans itself. My to-do list doesn't regenerate overnight, and rest isn't just something I have to earn. It's something I get and prioritize. I'd want a life where I have the energy and freedom to spend more time doing the things that make me feel fulfilled instead of constantly trying to catch up. But based on my current mindset, I don't think that's the world I'd open the door to. I think I'd walk into a world of complete chaos. The sky would be red, fish would fly, and birds would swim. Gravity would work only when it felt like it, and clocks would run backwards. Roads would lead to nowhere, and every time I opened a door, it would take me somewhere completely different. Nothing would make sense. There would be no clear rules, and I'd spend most of my time trying to figure out what was happening around me. Because if the box really reflects what's going on in your mind, I think mine would reveal that I'm carrying around a lot more mental clutter than I realize. Lately, life feels a little like living in a world where the rules keep changing and I'm constantly trying to keep up. Underneath all of that, though, what I actually want isn't a different life. I just want enough space to enjoy the one I already have.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I wrote, oh Lord, I would be anxious and stressed the hell out. I think I have so many thoughts and paths rolling around in my head at any given time. I could open the door to fucking anything. A version of life where this podcast is wildly successful. A version where I bought the vacation home and started taking more risks with family and adventure. A version where I said F this corporate job and sold my house and travel full time in an RV. A version where I don't have health challenges and physical goals come easier. In any version of me, I don't think there is one that exists without my family. They will always be in the forefront of my mind and my drive to do most things.
So it's funny because we all started it with some version of, oh, geez. That's how I started it. I said, I genuinely have no idea. My mind is preoccupied most of the time, but overall, I've been trying to remind myself to live in the positive. Life isn't perfect and it never will be, but I also recognize that many of the things I have today are things I once prayed for. That's a pretty humbling realization. So if the box pulled me into a world based on my current mindset, I think it would be a peaceful place in nature with mountains, trees, and quiet all around, but the sounds of chaos of the city just blaring somewhere in the distance. Kind of like my life now. I crave peace and simplicity, but I also enjoy being busy, connected, and part of something bigger. Every once in a while, a giant animal would jump out, scare the crap out of me. But after the initial panic, I'd realize it's actually harmless. And that feels pretty accurate representation of how I experience life these days. Things happen. I worry about them. I overthink them. And then most of the time, they end up working themselves out. So the days would probably only be 15 minutes long because I constantly feel like there aren't enough hours in the day. And every night I'd have everything I needed to make dinner, but the meat would still be frozen because I forgot to take it out that morning.
That's life now.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be some glamorous alternate reality, but it would be a simple world that exaggerates all the little inconveniences, worries, and chaos that come with life. But at the end of the day, it would still be a pretty beautiful place because despite all the craziness, I genuinely love the life I've built.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. So that's the end of our questions. Are we sticking to our numbers?
I am going to stay at a 2.
Honestly, okay, I'll be super honest. The further out from this book I get, the less I like it. But
I can tell.
But I didn't dislike reading it, and it was interesting in the moment. So I'll stick to a 2.
I'm going to keep my rating. I liked it.
All right. We're all keeping our ratings. All right. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. We survived dark matter, or at least this version of us did. Next week, we're opening the door to The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo, where the chaos comes from family instead of quantum physics. Make sure you're subscribed because we're here for you every Wednesday.
Yep. If dark matter taught us anything, it's that there may be countless versions of our lives, but the people we love are what make this version worth choosing. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review the podcast. It helps other readers find us before they accidentally wander into an alternate universe where their TBR is actually under control.
Between the science, the suspense, and the question of who we'd be if we'd chosen differently, dark matter gave us a lot to talk about. Keep the conversation going at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and at literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may your alternate self stay out of trouble, and this life be the version you choose all over again. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.